Hi everyone, Arabel here with Chic Innovator, and this week is Mother's Day. So we are very excited to bring to you a conversation between myself and my daughter. Along with that, we have a very short but significant message at the end. Please go and listen to it, watch it. It is special because we want to honor all of the moms. So many women play different roles in our lives, some of them as grandmothers, some of them as caretakers, but all of them very significant. And we want to send all of you our love and tell you thank you for everything that you do. So here we go with this episode. You're watching Chic Innovator. Stay tuned for fascinating topics, fascinating people that have style and are innovative. You're watching Chic Innovator. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It's free. So, Alina, thank you for being here, my daughter. It's Mother's Day, and we're going to give everybody a message, but I'm so glad that you're here. I'm really grateful to you.
Thanks for having me, Mom.
I know you just recorded a training. So she just recorded this training for Pivoting in Heels, which is not-for-profit dedicated to empowering women. One of the things that we've been doing is we've been putting together a leadership skills program, and you just did a whole part of the leadership skills program. So thank you.
Of course.
How was that?
A little nerve-wracking. I do not understand how you do this every weekend, but it was great. It was a good test for me.
No, you know what? And thank you, because it's so important, because the ones we're trying to reach out to, right? The age group is predominantly young BIPOC women that are at college age, that are getting into the workforce. We've got the internships and we've got the scholarships now coming. And this training is critical. I know one of the things that you talked about was the whole fact that what they're looking for and what kinds of skills they're looking for. And the tech, the AI is really important, but the interpersonal skills, and that's so important. And so thank you for addressing all that. I know that's the field that you're in now. What is your title?
I'm a talent manager.
Okay.
So yes, also giving some tips and recommendations on resumes, interviewing, how to actually get the job, and then some professional skills when they're in the job.
Yeah, keeping the job, right?
Keeping the job.
Yeah,
very important.
So thank you for that. I was trying to figure out what we were going to talk about this, for Mother's Day. And one of the things I'm really grateful for when it comes to you, thank you for being my daughter again, but is that we have a good relationship. Because it is, I hear from a lot of people, and it's not always that easy to have a good relationship. It takes work. I don't know, with you it's been easy all the time, but it's ups and downs. There's a lot of people out there that don't get along well with their mom or with their parents. I'm very grateful. We've got a good relationship with Grandma.
Yeah.
And Grandma's alone now, at least on my mom's side, and on your dad's side, I guess, too, as well, right? And I'm also grateful because your dad and I are divorced, and the fact that you've come out so well.
Yes.
It's not always easy, because I think a lot of times people think that something's going to be missing, and I've been very grateful because your dad has been involved. That was very important to me, when we did decide to separate, and having good communications, you with your dad, you with me, and how to balance it all out, right? So I do want us to talk maybe a little bit today with the audience with regards to communication. And I'm going to share a little bit, and I'm just curious to get a little of your feedback here, because we've never really talked about this. But I know I did some things as you were growing up.
Great time to start talking about this.
No, so late, right? tortured you probably, but I was thinking I was doing the right thing. Some things that I thought would be helpful, with our communications, and let's talk about this and see how as it was going through. You were always, I thought, a very smart child. You're an intelligent kid. You've done well. You University of Michigan, Walter Payton High School, etc. And so my mom, for example, I'll give my example on that side, with my parents, not with my dad, but with my mom, we didn't always get along so well because my mom was very black and white. And she's from Mexico originally. And, if you have ethnic background, a lot of parents is like, this is the way it is, and that's it. Don't ask me any questions. And, this is my law, and that was the law. And with you, I tried also because you never talked back, but you would ground your heels and kind of just not do it. And so one of the things I tried to do with you is kind of give you the facts behind, because you were very intelligent. I don't know if you remember that. I mean, you were in elementary school, and I would do like this research and kind of give you data. What did you think about that? Because it seemed to be a way to reach you, because you wanted to know the why behind it. You would do it, but you kind of wanted to know the why behind it, and it helped me be more intelligent about what I was asking and you to do. But I'm just curious now. We never really have talked about this, how that worked or didn't. So
I mean, I probably, for better or worse, took it for granted because that's all I knew you to do. But now as an adult and trying to understand, what's helpful, it's always so much more helpful to understand the context and rationale. So I really appreciate that you did that. But I think it also probably gave me a better understanding of just why things were the way they were, whether it was within our control or not. And so, it was very, very helpful, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I try to get the data behind it, right? Not elaborate, obviously. Sometimes you were a kid, but small, you were in elementary school or something. But I thought it was important because you would ask, well, why? And then you would come back to me with some information. Well, I saw this. And so it was never an argument, but it was a great discussion. And I think over the years, obviously, we both elaborated on our back and forth a little bit. Yeah. But, and you were, we always came to a middle ground, which was great. And you were, always a great kid. The other thing that I remember doing, and I don't know if you realized that I was doing this, I remember you were like 10, maybe 11, 12 or something, and we would take these trips, just you and I, right? When you started going into the teens, it started getting a little harder to talk to you. Because, you were going into the teens, you weren't arguing with me or you weren't doing bad things, but you were shutting down. And so one of the things I tried to do, I said, you know what? If I get her alone with me on a beach, and it would take a day. I don't know if you noticed this.
You'll make me talk to you.
No, I wouldn't even hardly talk. I would just wait. And then you'd start opening up. And then you would start telling me like all the story and everything that was going on and really sharing. Because you were just trapped with me, I figured. But, it really helped. And then, we'd come back and we were really bonded, right?
Yeah.
But what did you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I even think going back to providing the rationale for me as a child, it was probably really great to be treated like a person and not just a child. And that's really overlooked sometimes, but it's really important for someone to feel that, they have importance, they have worth. And so I think on those trips too, right, you giving me space or just having a little bit of space until I felt comfortable opening up and sharing, especially during the teenage years when you're going through like emotions, everything's bottled up and there's like drama and I'm like, what do I tell my mom? What don't I tell my mom? Was probably really, really great for me, again, to feel like I was a person, I had that space, and then when I was comfortable, I could open up again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think having that autonomy, and, you know, kind of boundaries, that you allowed me to set for myself probably gave me that comfortability during those
We
trips.
had some fun experiences. I mean, we
And
had
also
a
we had
lot of
great
fun.
trips.
We had great trips. I mean, we would take
When you're on a
great
beach, you
trips.
can't really complain.
Yeah. When we did the dolphins, remember those?
my-
The dolphins.
yes, yep.
It was fun and scary at the same time. Freezing water. But we had a lot of great experiences, and I think it also helped us figure out how to work together. I mean, remember, I think it was Cancun, Tulum, and then we had that little truck that we rented, and then
The Jeep?
the Jeep.
Oh my gosh.
And then the top didn't work. The top fell out. And then we're in the middle of a dark road. We don't know where we're going. Now that I think about it, my goodness, it was so dangerous. And there was only one light to it. Do you remember?
We had the directions
had
printed
the
out.
we
had the brights on.
It was crazy, but we
A
made
bonding
it.
experience.
Yes.
We had no idea where we were going or
And it started
if we were going to get
pouring.
there.
It had started pouring, raining, but somehow we made it through, and it was
In the
really
open air Jeep.
in the open air Jeep.
That was a tough time.
Yeah, and we didn't know where we were going, and there wasn't like Google Maps, you know,
Yeah.
it wasn't, but we made it.
Oh, how we wished for Google Maps at that time.
Yes, yes. But there was some, you know, great moments too, and great memories. You know, we were doing Tulum before anybody knew Tulum was a big deal. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. I have a lot of great memories from that, and I'm hoping you do too. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I was hoping you did.
No, all amazing trips, and appreciate you also now thinking of it, trying to make sure that we had a stronger relationship through those trips and through ways that we could communicate when I didn't always want to communicate. So
Yeah, because, you know, and I know that it's really hard for a lot of parents that are watching this, especially Mother's Day moms, you know, we want the best for our children, and a lot of times we think forcing our way, and with some kids that might work best, but you've got a high IQ. And I knew that was not going to work. And so you're trying to figure out how to do that without scarring you for life. And so, no, I'm glad we're kind of talking about it on this particular day. I'm curious, especially now because you work with so many humans in the area that you're in, you know, maybe talking a little bit about like some advice because we've kept a good relationship, maybe some of the things you think we're doing now that are helpful to us to keep that bond going, and while at the same time I try to respect your life as much as possible, and your growth as a human being and as a young woman. So
yeah, what are some of the things we do now? I feel we talk pretty regularly, and I think that's really helpful. But at the same point, again, I think it goes back to respecting the other person's autonomy. You know, you don't really push too much if I'm distant or if I'm really busy or anything, which I know we're all so busy. I know you're so incredibly busy, my goodness. But I really do appreciate that respect, and I think it allows for a much easier relationship when we're not already starting from a difficult level. We're starting from a really good understanding, mutual respect, and that we both have our lives and we want each other to be happy.
Yeah.
And that's something I feel and comes across, and so that really helps bring out that closeness and that bond.
No, and I'm really grateful to you. I mean, last year, for example, oh my goodness, I mean, I'm your mom, and we've always made it very clear that I'm your mom, but in a way, you're there in some of the difficult times, like a good friend would be, you know, as you're maturing. I mean, last year I was so grateful. I got really sick right before the Pivoting in Heels High Tea, which is our big event, you know, that you've been involved with forever, but you had to literally what happened the night before the tea,
Yes.
I went blind because I couldn't see, and my corneas were scratched. She had to take me to the emergency room, and I was blind. I literally was like this. I could not see anything. And so I sat with you and from memory went over what to say in front of all these incredible, powerful, beautiful women, and you chaired the event. And thank you so much for doing that.
Terrifying for so many reasons. One, you called me out of the blue and you were like, I can't see. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I'll come pick you up. Like, what do we need to do? We took you to the emergency room. And then we finally met with the doctor, kind of had the next steps for your recovery. But when we got home, you're like, so I have this event tomorrow. You're going to run it. And I think it was 9:30 p.m. at night when you started going through the note cards with me. And I was like, okay, well, all right. But yeah, and I mean, I do think we, not even just in that instance, but cross a line sometimes where there's a bit of a blur between friends and mom and daughter. But I think I appreciate that more as I've grown up now and am an adult. And you kind of have that with grandma too. I think we're all very,
the same.
very tight.
Yes. And thank you, because I mean, if you know me, I can be very friendly, very casual, fun, motherly, but then when it comes to business, I would say that, okay, now you're going to run the show and go boom, 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 right through it.
Yeah.
I mean, and you've been very good.
Oh, you turned it on.
Yeah, you're very good about handling that, because not everybody can, but you're the same way. You know, when it's business, and you've just got to get it done. So thank you for getting it done.
I learned from the best.
Oh,
so.
Thank you. I think the other big thing is we try to have our dinners, right?
Yeah.
We try to have
Definitely.
dinners together. And I think for me, that's like a huge deal. That makes a big deal, because it's just us again talking, and you know, we spend some time catching up, breaking bread, sometimes going to some great restaurants, and sometimes just doing nothing at your place or my place or whatever. And you know, it's a lot of fun. By the way, I'm changing the house a lot, so you might not recognize it. You got to come over. But yeah. So anyway, thank you. And I hope this helps communication-wise a little bit. And we want to wish you all a very, very happy Mother's Day. And thanks again for being my daughter.
Thank you. Before we log off, I want to say I just appreciate you so much. And honestly, I cannot believe how much work and effort it took as a single mom when I was growing up. And so now that I'm an adult, now that I have a dog, which is not the same as a child by any means, but she is a ton of work, and I cannot imagine doing that for a child, feeding me, taking care of me. So I love you.
Thanks. And if you want to send Indy over, you can send her over.
She loves my dog, by the way. So.
Love the dog. Except I have to fight with Grandma, because Grandma says Grandma
loves my dog.
Yes, adores that. We all love the Indy. So anyway, thank you for that.
Happy Mother's Day.
That is very sweet.
Thank you to all the moms out there.
Had
you are
conversation.
superstars. So I love you.
Yeah, love you too. And we love you.
Yeah, we love you. Happy Mother's Day.
And here is a very special poem for you, A Mother's Love in Every Form, author unknown. For mothers who rise with each morning light, who hold it together, who fight the good fight, who give all they have with a soft, steady grace, love shows in the lines that time can't erase. For mothers to be with hearts open wide, cradling dreams they've yet to confide, with hands on their belly and stars in their eyes, they carry a future that's yet to arrive. For those who mother in ways undefined, with wisdom, with warmth, with a nurturing mind. The aunties, the teachers, the friends who just know your love is a light that continues to grow. To those who remember a mother once near, whose voice is now memory, whose love still feels clear. She lives in your laughter, your strength, your song, in the parts of your heart where she still belongs. And for those whose arms have longed to embrace, whose journey to motherhood time won't yet place, your love is no less, your spirit still strong. You are seen, you are whole, you've been brave all along. So here's to the mothers and all that they do, to the quiet, the loud, the many, the few. To love in its forms, both spoken and shown, you are never unseen, you are never alone. Today we honor your story, your name, your joy in your heart, your fire and flame, for all that you are and the lives that you touch. We thank you, dear mothers. We love you so much. Thanks for watching Chic Innovator. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It's free.